Hey there, this is Dennis Regling. We're back at the Possum Woods puppet shed again. All right, we have our little friend here looking pretty good. I've already made arms for my other puppet that we're making. We'll be putting them on in a little bit. But this fella, he's all ready for his arms. I went ahead, I traced the hand pattern out on my fleece. Okay, and when I traced it out, I extended the wrist. Okay, so the hand pattern gives you something like this. That's all your polyfoam. But then this part I extended to make my longer arm. Your arm should be the length of the body, so from the shoulder down to the bottom of the body. Okay, so it's the length of the body, which on this puppet is 10 inches. And then the hand hangs below that, and if you stand up and hang your arms, you'll find your wrist is about at your belt, although his belt's actually going to be higher. But so you make that arm section. You can make a separate tube for the arm, and then I sew them together. What I have done is I extended the hand pattern, to make the tube, sewed the tube up, sewed the hand up. Okay, when you sew these up, you want them inside out. So your nice fleece ought to be inside as you sew it. Turn it right side out. You get some nice clean stitches. But I left a hole. There's a hole right there. That hole is going to allow me to put his hand in. Okay, so his hand will be going right in there, and then I'll stitch that shut. To put his hand in from the far end and all the way up the tube, possible, no fun. There have been a few times where I've forgotten to leave that hole on a hand, and I just go back and remove the stitches, and you need that hole. That's not negotiable. So these are the sleeves. The hand will go in here. And I also have my hands. I cut those out. I cut two for each side of the hand. For each hand. Two for each hand. So it'll actually be an inch thick. But you cut them on a 1/2 inch foam. When you lay these out, make sure when you lay them out that you open up like a book so that you'll be able to get your hand put back together right when you glue those two sides together. Now I want posable fingers. I want fingers that can be bent and moved and posed. You'll notice here on this hand, I can bend these fingers. Those fingers bend. It allows me to hold things or just to make an expression. It's because there is wire inside. I'm using 18 gauge wire, 18 gauge galvanized steel wire, 18 gauge. What I'm going to do, pull out a nice section of wire. Cut that off. Now, you can just make 4 fingers. It's a 4-finger hand. Just make 4 fingers and meet them in the middle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try and make the shape of the hand, which will allow a little bit more posability. I'm going to start down here, starting at the base of the hand. I'll come up. Up to the top of the finger here. I'm going to bend it down. So I'm making a loopy. Okay. See, I'm making a loopy here. I'm going to go down just a little bit into the palm, not far. Bring it back up to the next side. Make another loopy. So now I've got my first two loopies there. And I'm going to continue up and do the other two fingers, or technically the finger and the thumb. That gives me my hand shape, basic hand shape there. Try to get that to lay relatively flat. Now, I'm doing this. Take my Fast Tack 55, shake that baby up. I'm going to spray that foam, trying not to get it on the table. Okay, the whole palm of that hand. This dries really fast. Take my other piece of hand, put it over on top. Line it up as best I can. Push that together. Now if you look, okay, I got that all together. These fingers are actually bendable now. I can bend the wire. I can pinch it to make it a little narrower. Whatever. There's one. We're going to go ahead and do the second hand now. Same way. Let's see, make sure that's going to fold over and it's going to line up. Open it like a book. You don't want to mess that up. Get myself a nice piece of wire here. Okay, for measure an idea, there's 1 foot. That's about 2 foot. Just a little over 2 foot. This is probably about 26 inches. It's probably a little long. Okay, about 26 inches there. I'm going to go ahead and make my first loop. You know what? See how that's going to fit there. Just wire down. Okay. Go up, down. Up. Down, up, down, and it looks like it got about 3 or 4 inches too much, so yeah, I'm thinking 2 feet would have been perfect. I had a little over 2 feet there. My fingers are going to line up pretty good there. And if you look, you'll see that it's not laying flat. Okay, it's not laying flat. It's kind of buckling up here. But with the fast tack, give it a quick spray. It's gonna work. Then I push it together. It holds really quick and holds really good. Get that lined up as good as I can. Try to make sure my wires are inside the foam. Push down on that baby. Right there. I mean, that fast tack, it's fast and it tacks. It's named correctly. Now, here comes the next part. There's some clean newspaper here. You can use brown craft paper. I got some newspaper. You can brown paper bags, grocery bags work great for this. Now, what I'm going to do, we'll go ahead and put my gloves on. This nice little gloves. Protect my fingers. I've actually used this particular glove before. This one's brand new. This one I used in the past. I kind of, one of those cheapskates. I'll use a glove a couple times if I can. Now what I have here is contact cement. Okay. And I like barge. This here is actually weldwood. Okay, there's not a whole lot of difference between them. They both do the job. I prefer barge. Don't ask me why. Got myself a little foam brush. What I'm going to do is paint all around the outside of these fingers. Okay. Now, the nice thing with that wire is I can actually spread this a little bit to help me get inside. I'm going to paint that whole thing. Not too heavy. Okay, you don't actually need a real thick coating. You can kind of dab in. Just nice coating of contact cement. Now contact cement has to dry to tacky before you join it together. It has to be on both sides of where you're joining. So it actually connects to itself. This is coming along really nice here. I'll do the other one now. Same deal here. Get that right there. I'm actually getting this a little heavier than I need. You really just a light coat will do it. I've found no benefit to a heavy coat. I found some disadvantage, and it takes it longer to dry and tack up. Got nice and light there. I'm not doing the bottom edge. I'm doing all the rest. That's that. As I said, this has to be nice and dry. So I've got my portable air unit here, air dryer. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to dry that cement. And we have alright, pop the blew the fuse. I have too many things hooked up. I'm going to plug my heater. Now, funny thing with the heat gun actually makes my fast tack want to come loose, so I'm pushing that back together as I go. So I hope I got this one. Let's see if I can't. What I'm going to do is roll these edges to in. Roll the edge in all the way around now. Okay, you can see that. Just put my finger there. Now just roll in. Rounding these finger edges off. If you weren't using fleece, okay, you can do this to make a nice hand. You roll it in, and then you can paint it. Whoops. Drop on the floor. That's not a good idea. But get that nice rounded edge here. You could paint it. You could cover it with latex, which is one of my favorite ways to cover a puppet, is just paint liquid latex over it. This one I'm putting in the fleece, of course. So we're rolling those in. Get nice round edges. All just pushing in really nice there. There it's fat. Now it's skinny. And so we have that all rolled in. Nice thing is, this is a little wide here. I can squeeze it. That wire, because the wire is loopy inside, you can squeeze it together to make it a little skinnier if you need. Sometimes I even will just make the finger wires a double wire, just goes up and down and meets in the middle. But for this, we use the loops, gives us a nice shape here. Now I'll get these dried off, get nice and tacky. view of the heat is making my fast tack thread slip. So I got that nice and dry. You don't have to use a hairdryer, but if you're not using the hairdryer, you're going to need to let it sit for a good 10-15 minutes, get nice and tacky. And then you can just roll them around. Throwing those edges real quick. Took a little bit of time on the first one to kind of show you how it's done. Just gonna move a little faster here. It's alright, it didn't take all that long. Skinny that finger up a little bit there. There we go. So now we got that nice, we got two hands done. And then the hard part. This is the part. What you want to do is get this hand into that side hole and into those finger pockets. Now obviously the bigger the hole, the easier it is, but the bigger the hole, the more sewing you have to do. I made the arm sleeve continuous, so I don't have to sew at the wrist. If you make your arm sleeve separate, then you just make a glove, roll the glove onto the hand real quick. But then you have to sew around the wrist, and you've got that extra seam around the wrist. So I've really taken to doing it this way. Makes the wrist look nice and clean. I've got all my fingers started. There we go. That one's up there. That's good. This was an easy one. This one, get that finger in there, got a finger over here. This one doesn't want to be where it's supposed to be. Got that in there all the way. Okay, all the fingers are down to the end of the holes. Now I'm just going to slide this in. Flatten that hand back out to the best of my ability here. Get nice and flat. Put my thumb in this side hole and just push up a little bit. There we go. All the fingers are to the ends. The shape of the glove helps to shape the hand. And this one's ready. It's just going to need sewn here on the edge, and it's going to need stuffed. And another one here. The same thing. Okay, it goes like this. There's the thumb. And with the wires, you can bend this and then reshape it. This one's got a smaller hole, so you're going to get to see me work a little harder. You may see me cutting a seam. Let's hope not. Get that finger started. That would be the index finger next to the thumb. I'll get my thumb in there. Oh, that went in easy. That went in easy. I've got that thumb to the end. Got that index finger almost to the end. And now, pinky's the last one. Get to the end of the pinky. That's to the end. Bring in the wrist. Those wires are great because it helps you bend it, get it in, and then I can flatten it back out. The wire gives you a lot there. Get the fingers in and get them shaped. So I've got that completely in. I have just a little section here now. Just a little section to sew. Got that thumb in. Went in a little quicker than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be harder. So that hand's ready to go. Now this is the thumb up here. One thing I didn't really mention is I always put the slot on the bottom of the hand. Here's the top of the hand. I put the slot here, not on my thumb, down the bottom. Not on the thumb, down on the bottom. And that keeps it cleaner up top, less seam here. If you're putting an arm rod in, then the arm rod would come in through the bottom here. So again, you'd want that hole there. Okay, this is going to be, that thumb's on top. It's going to be the right hand. Although, if I bend the hand the other way, now it's the left hand, but we'll put that little bend in. That's looking pretty good. This is the left hand, so I want to bend the other way, get some shape in that palm. That's looking good. Now the next step is to stuff those arms. One way to stuff them is to take a piece of foam, make it twice this width, and then you'd roll it together. So this would be about right, except it's too short. It's almost right length. You bring it around, glue it together. Okay, you glue it together, glue these edges together, and insert that in. It gives you a nice stiff arm. What I'm going to do, which I found works very good, and gives a nice arm for this puppet, I have some batting. Now, yeah, you're looking at costs and looking at materials. You've already bought the foam, you can use the foam. And that works great, it works fine. It's a lot of folks do it. Get some batting. From where the wrist is in the foam down to the end of my arm, that's my length. This is about 3 times this width. It's about 3 times the width. I'm going to take my gloves off. Easier to handle the batting without the gloves. Get that finger blown back out there. There we go. Nope, didn't come out. And I'm going to try and use these again. I use those with that contact cement to try to keep it off my fingers. I really don't like getting the contacts around my fingers. It can be frustrating getting it back off. I got this piece. What I'll do is roll it up and go right in the arm. I'll go ahead and cut another piece, same size. Use this as a pattern. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't have to be perfectly square or anything, because it's fluffy stuff. Batting is very inexpensive. It's nice and easy to put the arm on. What you don't want to do is just stuff it in. You don't want to just stuff it in that arm. What you're going to do is roll it like a tube. And then when it expands, it looks really nice. Try to get this in here. This down to the end. Roll it out. Doing this before I've got my hole sewn. So I can actually come in, pull on this thing. And I'll sew this end shut here. And I got the batting down to the end. Got a nice floppy arm, which is nice, lots of movement in that arm. So you can use arm rods. This is an removable arm rod. So you can put it on. Put it on, you can take it off. Some people build their arm rods right into the hand, into the palm. These are available on Amazon, online. If you go to puppetbuildingworld.com to my tools and materials page, there's a link for these. Very inexpensive. And if you need the arm rods, you can put it on, you can take it back off. This arm has a lot of motion. Beautiful, beautiful arm. Do that again, and I roll it, rolling, roll it. Don't just stuff it, want to roll it. Get down in there. It's already unrolling, but it keeps it nice and smooth. You notice that arm is good and smooth. It's not all lumpy. I'm covering these arms with shirts, but if your arm is going to be exposed, it's even more important not to have a lumpy arm. Come back in my hole up here at the wrist. Give that batting a nice pull. Tuck it at the top. And sew the top. Sew this. And these arms are ready to go on the puppet. So, let me go ahead and do that. And I'll get back with you. I'm sure you don't want to watch me sew.